Hello. Today I'm going to talk to you about why you can't compare quarterbacks from different eras in the NFL. Many people like to compare quarterbacks from all eras to determine who the greatest of all time is, even though the game has evolved over the last 30 years. People like to argue that Joe Montana, who played in the 1980s, or even Tom Brady, who plays right now, is the greatest of all time. But I say that you can't compare any of these quarterbacks because of the rule changes. Quarterbacks are injured much less than they were in the 1980s, and the new technology helps the quarterback in today's game. First of all, in today's game, the rule changes are huge and help the quarterback and wide receivers. According to NBC Sports, Josh Alper in 2016, he interviewed Joe Montana right before the Super Bowl, and he stated that it's easier for a quarterback to throw the ball because of these rule changes. In the 1980s, defensive backs were allowed to touch the wide receiver as much as they want all the way down the field, as opposed to in today's game, defensive players can only touch them a certain amount of yards or else it's a penalty. Joe Montana said that you can't compare any of this at all because of that reason. Next, quarterbacks in this era are injured much less, and that's because we know a lot more about these new injuries like concussions. CTE is a brain condition caused by concussions, and many of the players who played in the 1980s had concussions that they didn't know about. Quarterbacks didn't want to come out of the game as much, too, so they didn't tell their coach about it, and they didn't have the camera angles to see that they got hit in the head. According to Erin Flynn from Sports Illustrated in 2016, Ken Stabler, who is arguably a top 10 quarterback of all time, had CTE and passed away at the age of 69 because of it. CTE causes brain trauma and amnesia. So they feel that these quarterbacks could have been affected by these diseases while they were playing. And lastly, new technology benefits the quarterback in today's game. According to VentureBeat.com, Keegan Green in 2016, 6 teams use virtual technology. They say that the game is 90% mental, and you have to be able to read defenses in order to be successful in the league. So they feel that this is helping the quarterback. Virtual technology is when they put a headset on and they can see the field with the players on the field and they can play against them virtually. They didn't have this back in the 1980s, and this is helping the quarterbacks study defenses and know what's coming when they're on the field. Also, these quarterbacks have headsets in their helmet to help them relay play calls from their coaching staff to them, as opposed to in the 1980s, they didn't have any of this, so the quarterback called his own plays while on the field. They also have bigger linemen in today's game than they did in the 1980s, so the quarterback is more protected. And this is because of the technology that is used to help work out and make these O linemen bigger to protect the quarterback from getting hit. So in conclusion, the game has changed over the last 30 years because the quarterbacks are protected more because of these O linemen and these rule changes that the quarterback can't get hit above the waist, above the head, and below the waist, and or else it's a penalty and a flag, and it could result in a player's suspension from the defense. The rules also make it more of a passing game than a running game. In the 1980s, football had great running backs and was mostly known for the running game, as opposed to nowadays, it's all passing and there's little running. And lastly, technology has changed the game tremendously over the past 30 years. Without all this technology, this game might not be as good as it is because the fans like to watch passing more than running. So it's better for the sport to have all these quarterbacks being better now than in the 1980s because there's more TV, more camera angles, and all these people are watching many of the games. So for anyone who wants to compare quarterbacks of these eras, it's hard to, and I don't think you really can. So thank you for your time, and have a nice day.